Welcome to Inclusion Revolution. I'm your host, Tova Sherman. Really pleased that you joined us this week for what I believe to be an extremely important and interesting show. Our guest this week is Gerald Wheatley. Welcome, Gerald.
Hello.
Gerald is actually, and let me make sure I get this right, is the president of Atmosphere Entertainment. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And Gerald, before we get rolling on today's subject, I would like you to tell us, what is Atmosphere Entertainment?
We're an entertainment company. Obviously, we do anything from small shows like weddings all the way up to 10,000 person shows. Production for concerts, that sort of thing.
Right. So, of course, everyone watching today is wondering, so, okay, you have a DJ on. I know there's a connection because this is Inclusion Revolution. And what we want to be able to do is connect why you're here and, of course, what the message is today. So, Gerald, let me start by congratulating you, because I understand you are the DJ, the original DJ for the Rhythm DJ program here in Nova Scotia that, as I understand it, supports all types of high-risk youth in learning to DJ.
That's right.
So you and I believe some of the other DJs that are, I believe, you're also associated with a radio show or a radio station, are you not?
Yes, we're associated with Z103, and the other DJ that does the Rhythm DJ school with us is Craig Muse, DJ Tricks.
DJ Tricks, sounds like fun. So let me ask you this, and that's the bounce, right?
No, that is not the bounce.
Oh.
Z103.5.
I should really get off CBC Classical, right? Visit you? It's all good, though. I'm allowed to make mistakes. That's the fun of the show. Now, what I wanted to ask you today was, tell me a little bit about the DJ program, because what you may not realize is last season, we actually did have the coordinator of the Rhythm DJ program on, but it was just starting out, and our understanding of the program was that it was designed, again, to attract high-risk young people between the ages of like 16 and 23?
16 and 23.
And the only criteria is that they come in, it's free, and you and DJ Tricks run this, and the goal here is what?
Give students self-confidence, give them faith in their abilities, teamwork, working with others. We have a lot of youth from really different groups. There might be some with disabilities, there might be some with cognitive disabilities, some with ADD, ADHD, and it's a great environment because everybody kind of works together. Everybody learns a little bit about each other. It's great. Now,
you aren't particularly a disability expert. What you are is a DJ who is now teaching DJing to some of the high-risk youth. Can you tell me, for you personally, if you don't mind, what it means to you and why to be involved in this program?
For me, when I first started in the DJ business 20 years ago, there was nobody there to teach me. I had to learn this stuff all by my own, all on my own. I had to go and hang around the clubs. I'd hang around other DJs, and there was never.
I'm sure you were 18 at the time. It's okay.
I was 18 at the time. And there was never a course, there was never anything I could take to learn something like this. This is a great way to introduce and give people an introduction into this environment, into this industry. It's an industry to make money, it's an industry to have lots of fun in, it's a great place to be.
But again, I guess what I really want to know is, what are you seeing from this experience? Because, I mean, traditionally you are a radio DJ, you're a club DJ, as is Tricks, I know. So my question is, coming into an environment where you're facing kids who do face different challenges, and, you know, maybe you can share with us some of the examples of how you've overcome some of those challenges, because the truth is the majority of the youth you've been dealing with to date are youth with disabilities, although I know this program is not exclusive to youth with disabilities. So I guess what I want to know is, for you personally, getting this opportunity, meeting these kids, doing this every week, I know you do a couple a week, can you tell me perhaps why for you want to keep doing it, or is everyone getting on your nerves, or is it just too much, or why do you think this is such a great opportunity for you? And then maybe we can talk a little bit about what's happening with the client.
One of the biggest things is even from the get-go, from the first time we have the students walk through the door, from the first week to the next week, we see a huge difference in their demeanor. Students that have ADD or you know, that are a bit hyperactive and stuff like that, they're much calmer. People who are shy and reserved are they're outgoing and gregarious. People who are afraid to touch equipment, by the second or third week, they just can't wait to keep their hands.
So you're seeing some confidence building, and you're really enjoying personally, not just as a DJ, but as a person, you're really getting to see what you're doing, and really a quick effect, like really immediate gratification.
Absolutely.
Now that's especially good for people with ADHD, isn't it?
Totally.
And I know that you were talking to me earlier before we started the show about your own lifetime of living with ADHD, and how great it is for you to be working with now youth with ADHD and being able to see and give over those things that weren't available for you.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about your own experience and why you even got into DJing, and why for people, for instance, in your mind with ADHD, because I know you mentioned this to me earlier, fit really well in that field?
When I started this, I was 16 years old. I was kind of a bit of a lost soul. I really had no direction. I discovered music because my father was a musician, but I had no musical talent. But I soon discovered that...
That you discovered yet.
That I discovered, yeah.
You never know.
That's right. And as a DJ, I did my first teen dance when I was 16 years old, and I was totally hooked. As a youngster, I went to school. I had a hard time in school. I quit school early. I didn't end up finishing high school at that point. I got a day job, and I went through a whole series of day jobs, and nothing could keep me interested. I'd work at a place for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, but the one thing that remained steady through everything was DJing. So after a few years of working different day jobs, I've been everything from a private investigator to a gas jockey. The one thing that remained constant was DJing, and I decided to make a business out of it, and off I went from there. It's one of those things that everything's different. Every night is different. Every show is different. There's no 2 days the same, and for a guy with ADD, it's perfect. Right.
So what you're saying, for you, that change and the diversity is really positive for you. But also you yourself are identifying some of the changes that you went through becoming a DJ, and how you're seeing it happening in an almost compact way and over these 8 weeks, which I believe your program runs 8 weeks per cycle.
That's right.
So for instance, can you give me some stories about some of the kids that have come through, you know, and what you've seen in terms of where they started and where they ended, and perhaps some of the things you needed to do to bring them to the end, to a positive end? Because what I really want to focus here on for all of our listeners is that I don't think we always appreciate that some of these so-called, and I know it's used to death, but outside the boxes approaches to working with what we might call either youth with disabilities or perhaps just youth that have been in some trouble, you know, and why this kind of program makes sense. Because I think if a lot of folks are listening are saying, well, yeah, I understand DJing's kind of cool or whatever, but the truth is, why is it going to actually help and support my child who either has disabilities or maybe some social skill issues or just is kind of angry and frustrated teen? Can you tell me, for you, where you see that helping?
Well, the first thing is, I mean, our class sizes are so small. There's 2 instructors and there's 4 students per class. So that A, gives all the students lots of hands-on time, and B, because there's 2 instructors there, one can be helping a student on the equipment, and the other one can keep the others entertained, or, you know, give them facts, or just do all kinds of stuff to keep them interested. We had a young lady come in, and when she first came to our class, the first week, she was extremely nervous. She didn't want to touch the equipment. She didn't really want to talk to anybody. She kind of sat away from everybody. By the second and third week, we could barely keep her off the equipment. She was just go, go, go. And
why? I have to say that because it's happening. But can we define why it's happening? What I mean by that is, can we really start to break down what about this idea of being a DJ? Now, when we talk about DJ, these kids are scratching, which is the term for making noises with the album back and forth. It sounds so cool. And all of these other things, like it's real club DJing. It's not necessarily bar mitzvah DJing, although that's good too. So I guess what I want to do is I want to ask you, if you could, what are some of the specific changes that you've seen, and perhaps why it is you're seeing them?
I think with some of the students, they come and they see the equipment, and the first thing is, like, they get to play on something that most people wouldn't be able to even afford. I mean, the equipment that we use is really expensive. It's really high-end stuff. Some of the students come to us with aspirations of being a DJ. That overcomes their nervousness. They see another student up there doing their thing. They see us up there doing our thing, and we draw them in. Like, we do anything we can to keep them interested and draw them up and get them interested in the program. And it doesn't take very long. You know, they see us doing our thing, and they want to do what we do. So
right.
we show them how it's done, and they want to do what we do. Which
is great. So what I'd like to do is take a quick break, and when we come back, I'd like to talk about the specific skill set that you think even those that aren't going to be DJs are walking out with, and why this is an important program for everyone to hear about. So we'll be right back here on Eastlink, our Inclusion Revolution, in a moment.